Welcome to Sports Talk Weekly. My name is Sean Aspirla Gariseb. On this week's episode, we are joined by Johan Muller, the CEO of Cricket Namibia. Mr. Muller has a 16-year track record in cricket administration, including being at the helm of Northern Cricket Namibia, and he's also been a very influential part of helping the franchise of South African Titans into becoming a success. Mr. Muller, welcome to Sports Talk.
Good morning, Sean. It's great to be with you.
Morning. Just tell us a bit about yourself, where you were born, your journey in cricket, and as to whether you played cricket in your younger days.
Yeah, that's a bit of a story. I did play cricket. I was never that great. So I stopped quite young when I played for University of Tuks to become a coach. That was my life dream. So I studied sports psychology and human movement science at Tukkies in university. That finished up in 2002. And in 2003, I started starting a coaching journey. I opened up academies right across Pretoria, more specifically. In the end, close to 9 academies that I ran, more than 300 kids that was full-time in those academies, 16 full-time coaches. Then got myself qualified as a coach, did the international cricket qualification through the Cricket South Africa, level 3, and then also advanced level 2 in Australia. But then in 2011, I moved into coach education, where I was in a position where I trained coaches and facilitated coaching courses for Northern Titans and also for Cricket South Africa. I was part of the level 3 panel that ran assessments for and training of the level 3 coaches in South Africa. But in 2014, I pursued a different avenue of management and business, and I started studying into business and did a couple of online courses, certificate courses, also did a postgraduate in business management and a master's in business administration through Gibbs and UNISA. And then got into management of cricket for Titans and Northerns, and then was very fortunate to be considered for this role as CEO for Cricket Namibia.
Quite impressive. If you analyze your time at the helm of Cricket Namibia, as CEO, how has it been? What has been the challenges, successes, and how long have you been at the helm? And when is your tenure ending?
I've been the fortunate leader of this organization now for just more than 3 years, 3 years and 2 months to be exact. My contract got renewed in November last year for another 3-year term. So hopefully I'm still here for 3 years. That's part of the journey. Very privileged to be part of the cricket journey and the sport journey in Namibia. I think this country is so full of talent and perform way above its weight in every category. We just now again saw the inline skaters, we saw the sprinters. Rugby is getting up to scratch again, and then also the hockey sides that's performing exceptionally well. So it's a wonderful time to be involved in sport in Namibia. I've been blessed with a magnificent board, educated, skilled, highly experienced business people that drives this organization, and then exceptional staff in the sense of capabilities, but also in their efforts and motivation to serve the end user, the cricket participant, as best as they can. So the last 3 years was a magnificent privilege for me.
Tell us a bit about the Aspirant Quarter program. There have been a lot of raving reviews about that program. What are its challenges? What are its successes thus far?
I think one of the challenges that we always have in Namibia is distance. Because the country is so vast in terms of distances between different regions, it's very difficult to reach the smaller villages. It's time consuming, it's expensive to get out there. But it is a highlight of Cricket Namibia, is our development program. Last year we reached more than 80,000 kids in Namibia, which means that 1 out of every 5 children, primary school children in Namibia, played cricket. Which is in a ratio sense can compare to any other country in the world, which is phenomenal. But then we need to take that program further and not just give access, but we need to give a channel for how these kids can develop. And one of them are through regular and consistent matches where they play in competitions, inter-class, inter-school, inter-town, and that we've started for more than 20,000 kids last year. And then we need to build them into the hardball program, where these kids can be trained and developed in decent facilities with decent equipment to become the next superstars that we see on TV playing for men's and women's national side.
Last year, that program also got an award. Am I right? So I also just wanted to know, you mentioned challenges being distance. What efforts are there to reach to regions like the Zambezi region, far north regions, down south? Are there any efforts because the last time we understood you only visible in 10 regions?
We're now in 13, so there's definitely plans to expand. We train teachers and we plant coaches in different areas. Our mini cricket team with our coordinator, Johan Muller, he travels on various roadshows, creating more opportunities for more schools to enter into the game. And then where we see cricket growing in a certain school or in a community, we will plant a coach, and that coach then drives the cricket in that region. So now we're in 13 regions, and there's definitely plans to go all the way through to Katima and then all the way down as far south as we can. We are in Ludritz, which is quite far south. Kietmans all the way up according to the highways, so the bigger roads, we all present there. And also to the north, we've done a few trips, and we're very present in the north as well.
Talking about regions, with regards to the leagues, do we have regional leagues? Are there any efforts to have regional leagues as far as those distant regions are concerned?
With our hardball programs, we do play regional tournaments where we bring the girls and boys together to play a festival where they represent their specific region. So we've got quite a number of those tournaments happening. And as I mentioned, this is for the hardball program. So it's the kids that has gone through the mini cricket program into the hardball, and then from there we filter them into tournaments. As you would know, these type of activities is quite expensive. So we do group it on a weekend over a holiday where we can play numerous amount of matches at the same time instead of regular traveling. But those leagues are in place, and those leagues have taken place throughout the last 2-3 years. Just maybe a bit back on the awards is something we're very proud of. We've won the regional award for the best mini cricket program in Africa 2 years ago. And then last year we won the best development program in the world for the ICC as an international
That's quite
award.
a big feat.
It is a big thing, and that's what I'm saying, in the world, because it emphasizes it. But it is a big thing. From 94 countries that participate in this competition, we had the best development program. And then we won the local award as well for the best development program in Namibia. So we're very proud of that.
You see, with such development programs, it's only right that the national team performs at the world stage. 2 years ago, we were at the first World Cup, and then last year we were at the World Cup. Which World Cup stood out for you? This was the T20 World Cup, and for our viewers, we just want you to explain to us what is the difference between the 2003 World Cup, where we also participated, and the World Cup of last year, so that we can just have it clear between what it means T20 and the World Cup of 2002.
Yeah, it is a bit confusing,
Yes.
I must say. So we play in two different formats.
Yes.
I'll explain the formats. The one is called the T20, and the other one is 50 over cricket, or ODIs, as they call it, one-day internationals. And it's still cricket, but it's almost two different sports within the one. So if I can compare it, it's like playing sevens in rugby and 15-man rugby. So it's still rugby, but it's almost two different. And we call it formats. So we play in the T20 World Cup. We played in the T20 World Cup in 2021 in Dubai, and then also 2022 in Australia. Yeah. This year is 50 over World Cup, the ODI World Cup.
The one that took place in 2003, the one that we took part in.
That was 2002, and that was T20, yeah. So that was also a T21. This one in 2023 is a 50 over World Cup.
Okay.
And we still need to qualify for it. We're playing in June in Zimbabwe against 9 other countries, and then the top 2 of that tournament can go through to the World Cup that will be hosted in India in October this year.
In 2026, we are planning to co-host the men's under-19 World Cup. Also, what is the progress in co-hosting the joint World Cup with Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Namibia? What are the plans? Where will the tournament be held in Namibia? What are the infrastructural plans that are in place for that event?
Yeah, so you're so right. There is 2 World Cups coming. The one is the under-19 one in 2026, and then the other one is the the 50 over World Cup for men in 2027. So 2026 for the under-19s, we're co-hosting with Zimbabwe. We need to provide 3 facilities for that tournament. So we still need to build our third.
Facilities, you mean stadiums?
Stadiums or fields that can accommodate international quality matches. Not necessarily in terms of spectator numbers, because under-19 World Cups doesn't attract that many spectators. But then for the 2027 World Cup, we need to be able to provide a facility that can host 14,000 spectators. And that is part of our development plans with City of Windhoek, is to build a stadium in the Dokjaba region. And the land is almost on our name, and then we can start developing that facility.
So those three facilities will be in different towns in Namibia?
It will be all in Windhoek.
All of them.
It will be played at United, Wanderers, and then also the new venue that we're creating.
Mr. Muller, are we still struggling to get our players get professional contracts? And how are these players paid? Is it true that the players are contracted wherein they are paid monthly salaries? And I also want to know, how are the women's team? How is the women? Does the same apply to the women's team?
Yes, it's a very good question, and maybe just to start, we get a lot of people saying that our men's team is now professional, and I just want to emphasize what I see as professional. And just because you get paid a salary at the end of the month doesn't make you professional. The way you conduct your work and the way you go about your business and how good you do your work makes you professional or not.
Indeed.
So our men are employees from Cricket Namibia. Their job is to perform on field. Our job is to administer cricket to the best of our ability. Currently, we've got 16 players on contract, which we're very proud of. We're one of very few sporting coaches in Namibia that does have contracted players. And I do think it does give a career opportunity for youngsters to say that I want to become a full-time paid cricket player, because that is possible now. Previously it wasn't possible. Where we do have a challenge is that at this stage we don't have the same for the women. We get funded very differently from the ICC, and a lot of the funding goes directly into the men's program. And we do believe in the next year or so we'll qualify with our women for the same level, that we can start remunerating them as well as full-time cricket players. But that is something that we're working on quite hard.
I like the fact that you touch on women's cricket, because the next question was to ask you what the success and the failures of women's cricket is. But then in terms of on the playing field, are they moving at the same pace?
They're actually moving at a very rapid pace, thanks to a wonderful coach, Francois van der Merwe, that has worked with the ladies now for the last 2 years, and then the commitment of a very dedicated senior team. They have moved from number 26 on the international rankings down to 17th this year, which is very high. If you compare that to other sporting codes in Namibia, then it's a really high ranking in terms of international countries. They played quite a lot of cricket last year. They're going to play in 4 tournaments this year, including the Africa qualifiers, where they hopefully can qualify for their next World Cup. And that will also lead to an increase in funding and support towards the women's program. But they're definitely moving rapidly. Our under-19 girls program is moving just as swiftly. A lot of development coming from the Kusepmund hub, and also Proet at the coast, and then also Ochu, which is our development hub in the Ochu region. So we're very proud of the progress. We would have loved to qualify for the 19 World Cup, and we would have loved to qualify 2 years ago for the Women's World Cup. But hopefully this year is our time.
What type of legacy do you think you'll leave when your tenure is over?
We just need to leave this game better than we found it. If we can say that, then we've done our business. If our company can be sustainable whenever the board decides they want to go the route of a new CEO, then I think I've done my part. And sustainability I see as we can continue with the growth, not just continue in the same way that we are. We can continue with the same percentage of growth as we've done in the last 3 years, which is quite high, because we've grown at more than 30% in terms of participation per year. But if we can leave the game where cricket can take care of itself, where there's fixed revenue streams, where there's continuous development in cricket and growth in numbers and quality, then I would think that I've done some sort of a good thing.
really appreciate, and it is a pleasure to have you on Sports Talk Weekly, Mr. Muller. One can feel it's your tangible passion for the game.
Thank
And we really appreciate your contribution to this program.
Sean, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk Weekly. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you.